Listen closely. Your soul is whispering, calling out for a pause. You have carried burdens no one else could see, walked paths that tested your every strength, and yet something inside you knows it's time to stop striving alone. You are among the chosen ones, those rare souls whose journey is guided not just by effort, but by a force far greater than human will. Rest is not surrender to weakness. It is the quiet, sacred act of aligning with the unseen currents of life. When you release the grip of control, when you lay down the armor of constant doing, a hidden guidance begins to move. God, or the universe in its perfect intelligence, steps in to carry what you cannot carry alone. The Shaolin masters understood this. In whispers between their disciplined breaths, strength is cultivated not just in action, but in the stillness that follows. In this video, you will learn how stillness restores not only your body but your spirit. You will discover why intention, focus, and mindful surrender open doors that constant struggle keeps closed. We will explore the ancient Shaolin insight that the soul's clarity is born when the mind stops resisting, when the heart finally rests. You will uncover practices that awaken quiet energy, nourish resilience, and invite divine alignment into every choice you make. Stay with me until the end, because the path of the chosen is subtle, revealed in layers, and the truth that comes from deep rest is often overlooked, yet life-changing. This is your invitation to step aside from the relentless pace and let a higher order take over. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire, where we uncover ancient wisdom for modern souls. Subscribe now and walk this path with us, where discipline meets stillness and surrender becomes power. There is a silence that speaks louder than any words, a stillness that holds more power than the fiercest strike. In the Shaolin tradition, stillness is not emptiness, it is the gateway to clarity. Long before the body moves, long before the mind reacts, the masters teach that the first step is to find that quiet center within. It is there, in the space between thoughts, that true understanding begins. When the mind slows, the qi, the vital energy that flows through every cell, finds its natural path. Shaolin training is not only about movement but about learning when to stop. In the motionless stance, in the silent breath, the energy circulates freely, weaving through body and spirit without obstruction. This flow strengthens, purifies, and balances, yet it requires surrender. To be still is to trust that life's momentum continues even when you pause, and that power often rises from calm, not force. Stillness is a healer. It allows the soul to reset, to shed the weight of struggle, to breathe in the space that has been denied by constant striving. In the quiet, past worries and future fears dissolve, leaving only presence. Shaolin masters understand that the body reflects the mind, and the mind reflects the spirit. By cultivating stillness, they cultivate harmony. The heart settles, the senses sharpen, and clarity emerges like sunlight breaking through a dense forest. Even a moment of true stillness can reveal truths that noise cannot reach. The energy that was scattered in tension finds its way home. Decisions become guided not by impulse but by insight. The soul remembers its rhythm and the body follows. In the sacred pause, the warrior and the sage meet within, and a profound balance is born, a balance that carries through every action, every thought, every step along the path of mastery. In the quiet corners of the mind, a deeper presence waits, patient, silent, and all-knowing. Mindfulness is more than focus. It is the art of attuning to this presence, of meeting the moment fully, without distraction or resistance. In the Shaolin way, awareness is not only about observing the world, but about sensing the unseen currents that guide it. Each breath, each heartbeat becomes a doorway to something greater than ourselves. To practice mindfulness is to watch thoughts as if they were clouds passing across the sky. They arrive, they shift, they fade, but you do not cling, you do not push them away. There is no judgment, no struggle. In this space, the mind softens and the soul begins to listen. The Shaolin sages believed that clarity is born not from forcing understanding, but from cultivating still observation, allowing insight to emerge naturally. This kind of awareness opens a subtle channel to guidance and inspiration. When the mind is quiet, whispers of truth are no longer drowned by noise and distraction. Solutions, ideas, and understanding rise not from effort but from presence. It is a discipline both gentle and profound, the discipline of watching, of allowing, of aligning with a rhythm that is beyond control. Through mindfulness, even ordinary moments are transformed. Walking, breathing, sitting, each action becomes sacred, each decision touched by clarity. The practitioner learns to flow with life rather than resist it, to act from insight rather than reaction. In this alignment, the divine presence is no longer distant, it is felt, seen, and honored in every movement of thought and body. Awareness becomes both guide and companion, a quiet force that shapes the path of mastery without effort, revealing the hidden patterns that govern life and the soul alike. There is a force within the mind that shapes reality far more than effort alone can. In Shaolin philosophy, this force is called Yi, pure, focused intention. Yi is the quiet power of the mind directed without distraction, the inner compass that guides thought, action, and spirit toward what is truly aligned with purpose. It is not a fleeting wish, nor a hurried desire, but a steady, unwavering current that flows from clarity and self-mastery. When the mind is calm, Yi becomes visible. A turbulent mind scatters energy, weakens resolve, and clouds judgment. But in stillness, intention is refined, focused, and potent. Shaolin masters teach that mastery of Yi begins within, in the space between impulse and action. Here, the practitioner learns to act not from reaction, but from conscious alignment, letting each movement, each decision, carry the weight of clarity. Pure intention opens the path for life's greater forces to work. It is as if the universe or divine will senses the harmony of a mind aligned and moves in response. When Yi is practiced with patience and discipline, outcomes unfold with effortless grace. Struggle softens, obstacles appear less daunting, and the hidden guidance of higher wisdom begins to reveal itself. In this way, intention is not control, it is cooperation. By honing Yi, one learns to release the illusion of forcing life's path, and instead attune to a higher current. The choices that once felt heavy and uncertain become precise and luminous. The heart feels lighter, the spirit steadier, and the soul trusts that every step is guided. In the stillness of the mind and the focus of Yi, action and surrender merge. The practitioner discovers that true power does not dominate life, but aligns with it, allowing God's will or the universe's intelligence to flow naturally through each thought, each breath, each motion along the path of mastery. True strength is revealed not in force, but in the quiet art of surrender. In the Shaolin path, surrender is not weakness, nor is it passive resignation. It is an active practice, a deliberate choice to release the illusion that control belongs to the self alone. When the mind tightens in fear or desire, the body follows, tension grows, energy stagnates, and the soul becomes weary. Surrender teaches that letting go is not giving up, it is creating space for life to flow. When the grip of over-control loosens, the soul finds room to breathe. Thoughts that once crowded the mind begin to settle. Emotions that once weighed heavily now pass like clouds across a clear sky. Shaolin masters understood that the body, mind, and spirit are intimately connected, and that surrender allows energy to circulate freely, replenishing what effort alone cannot restore. Healing, clarity, and insight rise from the space left behind when control is released. Surrender demands discipline. It asks for courage to step aside from the ego's insistence on dominance. The Shaolin warrior learns that mastery is not the triumph of will over circumstance, but the harmony between action and acceptance. In moments of true surrender, the self ceases to resist the natural currents of life, and a profound strength emerges, one that is flexible, adaptive, and aligned with a higher order. This is the paradox of mastery. The more the ego lets go, the more power flows. The more we release the need to control, the more the unseen guidance of the universe or divine presence can move through us. Each act of surrender is a step toward inner freedom, a moment where the soul rejuvenates and the spirit grows steady. In the silence that follows, a deeper understanding arises. True mastery is not what we command but what we allow. and in that allowance, life itself becomes a teacher, guiding the chosen toward clarity, purpose, and peace. Discipline is often seen as rigid, a measure of endurance and control. Yet in Shaolin philosophy, true discipline is much more than repetition or toughness. It is a path that strengthens body, mind, and spirit in unison. Every practice, every motion, every breath is a lesson in focus, resilience, and alignment. The warrior trains not to dominate, but to harmonize, shaping the self through conscious effort and attentive presence. Yet discipline alone is incomplete. Shaolin wisdom teaches that the path of mastery is guided equally by compassion, especially toward oneself. There is no honor in relentless struggle that drains the soul. Rest is not a detour from progress, it is a necessary part of the journey. It allows the muscles to recover, the mind to clear, and the spirit to absorb the lessons that effort has cultivated. Compassion tempers discipline, creating a rhythm that nurtures growth rather than forcing it. Balance is the secret woven through every Shaolin practice. Effort and ease coexist like the yin and yang, neither dominating, both sustaining. A strong stance requires tension in the right places, yet softness in the joints. A focused mind demands alertness, yet pauses to breathe. Likewise, the soul flourishes when we push ourselves to evolve, while also honoring the need for stillness and care. Through this integration, discipline becomes a gentle strength, not a harsh command. Compassion transforms effort into mindful action, making each practice an opportunity to cultivate not only skill but presence. The body learns endurance, the mind gains clarity, and the spirit grows resilient, yet tender. In the union of discipline and compassion, the practitioner discovers a profound truth. Mastery is not about endless striving, but about learning when to act, when to pause, and when to allow both effort and rest to guide the path forward. There comes a time when the soul quietly whispers, and if ignored, its voice grows faint beneath the noise of life. Soul fatigue is subtle at first, a heaviness in the chest, restless thoughts that never settle, or a sense that even familiar joys feel distant. It can appear as mental exhaustion, emotional overwhelm, or a spiritual emptiness that cannot be filled by action alone. In Shaolin understanding, these signs are not weaknesses, they are messages guiding the practitioner to pause and listen. When these signals are overlooked, clarity becomes clouded. Energy drains from the body, decisions feel burdensome, and growth slows. The mind struggles to see the path, and the heart grows impatient. The ancient masters observed that just as the body needs rest to repair itself, the soul requires moments of quiet to restore its strength and vision. Ignoring fatigue is like forcing a bowstring beyond its tension. It will eventually snap, leaving potential untapped. Recognizing soul fatigue begins with gentle awareness. Observe the patterns of thought, the tightness in the body, the shadows in emotion, without judgment or shame. Shaolin practice emphasizes witnessing oneself as an impartial observer, understanding that rest and reflection are disciplines, not indulgences. Compassion toward the self allows insight to emerge, guiding one toward renewal rather than forcing continued exertion. Even a small acknowledgement of weariness can open space for healing. Sitting quietly, breathing deeply, or simply slowing the pace allows the scattered energies to regroup. Soul fatigue is a teacher, showing where boundaries are needed and where alignment has been lost. By honoring these signals, the practitioner restores not only energy but clarity, presence, and the ability to act with intention. Awareness replaces frustration, patience replaces urgency, and the path of mastery continues, steady and true, nurtured by the quiet care given to the self. The quiet of a single moment can hold more wisdom than a lifetime of noise. Shaolin masters understood that mastery begins not only in action but in reflection, those deliberate pauses where the mind turns inward and the heart listens. Daily reflection, even for a few breaths or minutes, is like polishing a mirror. It allows the soul to see itself clearly, revealing patterns, intentions, and the currents of unseen guidance. In these moments, the practitioner observes without judgment. Thoughts, emotions, and experiences are noted, not clung to. This gentle witnessing strengthens self-mastery, because mastery is not forcing life into a certain shape, but understanding one's own rhythm and aligning with it. Each insight gained through reflection becomes a quiet compass, pointing toward decisions that are balanced, deliberate, and aligned with a higher order. Meditation, even brief, deepens this practice. Sitting in stillness, breathing with awareness, the mind learns patience and presence, patterns of distraction fade, and the subtle messages of intuition rise into clarity. The Shaolin path teaches that alignment with higher guidance is cultivated through consistency, not haste. Reflection trains the mind to respond rather than react, to act from insight rather than impulse, and to trust the flow of life even in uncertainty. True mastery is less about control and more about harmony between effort and ease, action and pause, self and the greater order. Reflection allows the soul to reset, the spirit to listen, and the mind to discern. Through this practice, strength becomes quiet and wisdom becomes natural. The practitioner moves through the world with intention rooted in understanding, guided not solely by will, but by the alignment of inner clarity with the invisible currents that shape life. In this way, reflection becomes both teacher and shield, nurturing a mastery that is deep, steady, and enduring. There is a force that moves unseen, a presence that shapes life in ways subtle and profound. In the Shaolin understanding, the divine or universal intelligence does not require our constant action. It flows most clearly when the mind steps aside and the heart opens. Pausing is not idleness, it is an act of cooperation with a higher order. In stillness, the currents of life and spirit align, and guidance that was invisible in chaos becomes perceptible. Rest is often mistaken for weakness, yet it is a deliberate discipline. To pause, to breathe, to release the grip of effort is to invite the unseen to take its place. Shaolin masters taught that energy moves most freely when the ego steps back, and the practitioner learns that surrender is a form of mastery. By resting with awareness, we allow divine support to act through circumstances, timing, and intuition, revealing solutions and insights that the mind alone could not create. It is in these quiet moments that the extraordinary often emerges. Miracles, subtle or profound, arise not from frantic striving but from presence and alignment. A decision that seemed impossible resolves with clarity. A long-standing obstacle dissolves with ease. The heart feels guided, the spirit steady, and the body strengthened, not through control but through trust and attentiveness. The lesson is simple, yet deep. Mastery does not demand that we force life's currents. It asks that we learn to pause, to observe, and to allow. In the sacred space of stillness, the divine moves, shaping outcomes, revealing paths, and nurturing growth. The practitioner discovers that cooperation with higher intelligence is itself an art, requiring discipline, patience, and humility. Through quiet surrender, we participate in a flow greater than ourselves. And in that participation, life becomes both teacher and ally, guiding the chosen toward clarity, purpose, and unseen grace. Life moves in rhythms that the mind often struggles to follow. Shaolin wisdom teaches that patience is not passive waiting, but an active trust in the unfolding of the journey. Every step, every challenge, every moment carries a purpose that cannot always be seen. The disciplined mind learns to remain steady, even when the outcome is unclear, knowing that clarity and results emerge naturally from consistent practice, intention, and surrender. To trust the process is to align with life's currents rather than resist them. Shaolin masters understood that forcing outcomes disrupts the flow of energy, scattering focus and clouding judgment. True mastery lies in cultivating inner clarity while allowing events to unfold at their own pace. Each moment of effort, tempered by calm observation, builds toward results that are both precise and meaningful. Patience becomes a silent ally, turning uncertainty into opportunity for growth and insight. Results are never separate from the work of the mind, body, and spirit. Intention sets the direction, discipline sustains the path, and surrender allows life's unseen guidance to contribute. When these elements are in harmony, outcomes arrive with ease, often surpassing what the ego could orchestrate alone. Shaolin practice emphasizes that mastery is measured not by control over events, but by the steadiness of the practitioner's presence and alignment. Letting life unfold requires trust in both the visible and invisible currents. It asks for quiet vigilance, attention without obsession, and faith in the lessons embedded in every experience. The practitioner learns to move with grace, acting decisively when necessary, yet resting in the knowledge that clarity, guidance, and growth emerge naturally over time. In this rhythm of patience, effort, and surrender, the chosen one discovers that life itself becomes a teacher, every step an opportunity to refine mastery, deepen awareness, and embrace the flow that carries all things toward their destined purpose. As we come to the close of this journey, remember the path the chosen one's walk is built on timeless principles: stillness that restores, mindfulness that awakens, intention that aligns, surrender that frees, discipline that strengthens, and trust that guides. Each is a tool, not of struggle, but of soulful mastery, a way to move through life with clarity and purpose. Embrace rest not as a pause from progress, but as a sacred practice for your soul. In moments of quiet, the body heals, the mind sharpens, and the spirit reconnects with the guidance that has always been present. By allowing God, or the unseen intelligence of life, to lead, the burdens you carry lighten, and the direction you seek becomes clear. Strength, insight, and resilience arise naturally when you release the need to control, and instead move with intention, awareness, and trust. Take these lessons into your daily life. Observe your thoughts, act with purpose, pause when needed, and surrender to the flow of life. In doing so, you align with a rhythm far greater than your own, and the miracles of guidance, clarity, and inner peace begin to manifest. May this sacred invitation remind you that the journey of mastery is gentle yet profound. The chosen ones are never alone, for divine support moves with those who listen, pause, and allow. If this message resonates, join us in continuing this path of ancient wisdom and self-mastery. Subscribe to Shaolin Soulfire, embrace these teachings, and let your soul rest in the knowledge that guidance, strength, and purpose are always within reach.